Hi, I recently got my green card, also known as permanent residency, and while I was going through that process, I watched a lot of timeline videos to kind of compare and contrast what was happening with me versus what was happening with them, to just sort of get an idea of how long it would take me. So because I was so obsessed with watching these videos, I thought I had to make my own. I just got my green card and I kept track of every little timestamp of me doing things, filing things, them getting back to me about certain things, and I wanted to share it in this video. So hopefully this video will help you get an idea of a possible timeline. Obviously, your timeline could be extremely different than mine. I was very, very lucky with my timeline, and you will see why in a little bit. If you don't care too much about the backstory behind how I got here and kind of why I wanted to get my green card, you can go ahead and skip ahead to this time right here. And I will also have timestamps on the video, so you can kind of skip ahead and watch what you want to watch and skip what you want to skip. So if you've never seen my face before, which I assume you haven't, I came to the US on an F1 student visa. I previously made a video about this. If you're interested in knowing kind of how that whole process went, I would recommend you watching that video. But for the purpose of this video, I came in as an international college student. I went through what's known as an adjustment of status, which means I went from one status to another. And what I mean with status, if you don't know anything about immigration, status is essentially your reasoning for being in the country. So my status before I got my green card was an F1 international student. F1 is just the terminology that they use for the type of visa that I got. And then I adjusted my status from student to permanent resident. So I ended up getting my marriage green card. So when I came into the United States as a student, my husband and I had already been together for about 3 years, and I attended school for 2 years before we decided to get married. So here is the official timeline, step by step, very to the point, and pretty detailed, I would say. So starting off our timeline, January 11th, 2023 is when we got married. And we did not end up filing for the green card until April 28th, 2023. Now, the reason why it took us so long to file is because we had completely underestimated how long everything would take. We kind of thought it would be quick and easy. Oh my gosh, just me saying that right now. And if you're in the process, you know it's not quick and easy. It is not quick and easy. So there were a lot of documents that needed to be hunted down, kind of. My birth certificate, his birth certificate, tax forms from several previous years that probably took the longest. I can go into more detail about exactly what we filed and all that in another video, but this is very much about just the timeline. We filed the I-130, I-131, I-485, the I-693, I-765, and we used Simple Citizen. Simple Citizen. This video is not sponsored, by the way. So if you know anything about immigrating to the United States, you know that it can get very expensive. And this is because most people with a brain, I guess, use a lawyer, because this is a very long and difficult process to do on your own if you have no knowledge about immigration whatsoever, which I assume you wouldn't, because why would you know anything about immigration if this is your first time ever immigrating, right? So most people get a lawyer, but lawyers are very expensive. We decided to use Simple Citizen. We just filed everything out on their website, and then they did all the work, and they ended up emailing us all the stuff that we needed to send, and they were super helpful throughout the whole process. Like while I was looking for all these tax forms and birth certificates, etc., they were looking over everything, making sure everything seemed okay, and just kind of approved everything before we sent it into USCIS. So on April 28th, that is when we sent the package to USCIS Chicago. That's the office that we used because we live in St. Louis, so Chicago was our nearest office. May 2nd, 2023 is when USCIS Chicago received our package. So that might get you an idea of how long the postal service kind of takes and how long it takes for them to actually see it and open it and look at it. And then not even a month later, May 30th, 2023, I had my biometrics appointment at the St. Louis USCIS office. I can also go into a whole video about how that process was, but essentially it was just fingerprinting and taking my picture. Now, this is the part of this whole process that blew my mind. When we originally filed the application, I had requested a work authorization document, an employment authorization document, which is the EAD. And I had read on Reddit and seen on YouTube that this can take a long time for this to come in. So that's what I was expecting. But on June 2nd, 2023, I got my EAD card approved. I was at a Cardinal baseball game when this happened. I got the notification on my phone and I couldn't believe it. I honestly could not believe it. Literally an exact month after they received my package, my EAD got approved. And I know that a lot of other people don't even get their EAD and they just go straight to the green card because they don't even kind of process it or look at it. I was very lucky. And then on June 9th, I got the notification that my EAD card was created. So they had actually made the actual card. And then on June 13th, I got my EAD card in the mail. When I got my EAD card, right, and this is kind of why I'm making this video too, because I got my EAD card, which is essentially permission for me to work in the United States. And if you're an international student, you know this is life-changing. But when I got my EAD card, I didn't get a social security number with it, and I didn't have an American social security number. So I was kind of confused. So I went on Google and I was like, yo, what's up? What's going on? Where's my social security card? Because I got my work authorization card, but I can't apply for a job unless I have a social security number because I have to start paying taxes. And then Google was like, you know what? Just wait about a week and then it'll get here. I'm like, all right, that's fine. That's totally fine. So I waited a week. A week went by. I didn't get it. Nothing happened. I waited another week. Nothing happened. So I decided to message Simple Citizen because they had been so helpful in the past. I was like, yo, what's going on? Where's my social security number? I got my work authorization, but I can't work. And they said, oops, sorry, we forgot. They said they'd forgotten to file the request for the social security number along with the EAD. So no hate to Simple Citizen, but this kind of threw me for a loop because I couldn't start applying for a job until I had my social. So what I did was I made an appointment with the social security office in St. Louis, explained the situation, was like, hey, I got my work card, can't work. Could you please give me a social? And the lady there was super friendly. And she was like, yep, everything looks great. You'll get it in the mail in a few days. So then I think exactly a week later, or almost a week later, on July 14th is when I received my social security card. So this was also like a wow moment for me because if you're an American or if you are a new immigrant, you know that getting your social security card or having it is everything you need, basically, to live and thrive in America. You need your social security card so you can make money and you can pay taxes. And it's also a way for the government to identify you. And when I got my social security card, that's when kind of everything dawned on me and it felt real. So fast forward quite a bit to November 3rd is when I got my next update. Now this one kind of freaked me out a little bit, I'm not gonna lie. They had looked through all my documents that I had sent in to apply for my green card, and they sent me an RFE. If you don't know what an RFE is, it is a request for evidence. This one terrified me. This one was really scary because my husband and I are very young. I'm 23, but at the time I was 22. And we hadn't been married too long. We had been together for about 4.5 years, but this was scary. This was a scary one. So they sent me a request for evidence, which means we're not entirely sure if what you're telling us about your relationship is true. So there are a few different RFEs you can get. I got a bona fide proof RFE, And the bona fide is essentially them asking, is this marriage legit? Are you guys actually for real in love, or are you just doing this to become a permanent resident? So thankfully for my case, we were indeed for real in love, and I had a lot of updated pictures from the first time we'd filed in January, because keep in mind it's now November and we'd taken a lot of pictures. We had gone on a lot of trips together, so this was really not an issue for me to send more pictures. What I also decided to do was send updated bank statements because we had a joint savings account. So I sent all of our bank statements dating back to January, which when we first filed, all the way until November. So they kind of had like a full extra year of proof that we were legitimate. So on December 10th is when we sent our RFE response. It took us a little bit of time to compile all the evidence, and we went back to Simple Citizen. We were like, yo, we got an RFE, what do we do? Help, this is terrifying. And they were like, don't worry, we're gonna handle all of it for you. So they told us exactly what we needed, step by step. It was super easy. And then they also composed a letter directed to the immigration officer being like, hey, we represent them and they are legitimate and here's all the proof. They organized it beautifully and they ended up receiving it December 16th. 1 day passes. It's now December 17th and my I-130 gets approved. So if you don't know what an I-130 is, it's kind of a little bit confusing to me still, but okay, it's not a green card approval. It is more so you are approved to get your green card approved, which means that sounds so confusing, and I understand that. It means that they have looked over all the evidence and that they believe us. I feel like that's the best way to put it. 2 days later, my green card gets approved. Oh my God. And this is the I-485. December 19th, that's when I get the notification. Green card approved. December 27th, right after Christmas, I get the green card in the mail. I'm bawling my eyes out. I'm crying, I am cheering, I realize I was extremely lucky in my timeline. They received all our documents May 2nd, and my green card was approved on December 19th, within the same year. I thought it was gonna take at least 2 years for me to get my green card, legitimately, because I had heard all these horror stories about it taking 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, and I was fully prepared. I was like, this is gonna take a long time, and it's fine because I'm still on my student visa, so it won't affect anything. I can still stay here legally while I wait. But oh my gosh, what an incredible thing to have your green card. Anyway, I hope this video was helpful. I understand it was kind of a little bit all over the place, but that's kind of this process. It is a little bit all over the place. So if you have any questions for me, any questions at all, because I know it's super intimidating and scary and exhausting, this whole process. So if you have any questions at all, please feel free, leave a comment, message me, anything. I'm gonna leave my socials down below. Reach out to me if you need help with anything at all, or if you just want advice, or if you want more details about anything I said in this video, please don't hesitate. I'm more than happy to help. All right, we're wrapping up this video. Thank you so much for watching. I plan on making a few more videos in this genre. I'm gonna make a playlist. If you are currently in this horrifying green card process, I feel ya, and I wish you all the best of luck, and I really hope it doesn't take too long for you. All right, I'll see you in my next one.